Hi, welcome to All Four Queens. So I hope everyone's well and I hope you're all keeping up with your practice. I know I fly into it and I know you know I mean well, but and I know you're all doing what you need to do anyway. So, and if you needed any help, you'd ask me. So let's get into it, shall we? So Book of Revelations, we're going back to the Book of Revelations. I know I'm splitting it up, but there's a reason why I'm doing it because of the where we are in terms of the energy at the minute. So when I opened it up this morning, it dropped on Revelation 6 7, but 7 in terms of the 144,000 sealed. Now, why am I reading that? A lot of people say they're 144,000, but they don't really have any sort of connection to religion or whatever. And I'm not saying you need to, but the 144,000 for me is in scripture. It's not anywhere else. So, and my belief is the 144,000 this time round, from when I read it, is probably the twins, really. So it's not everybody, but we are all I believe we are all chosen, and I believe we all carry the light if we choose to. But if you get out of your south node and into your north node, you still are of service if you're doing service, and that's the whole point, and that's why we all want to raise our vibration. Doesn't matter what label you put on it, the more you move out of your south node into your north node, and obviously you can find that in your astrology chart. You can go to cafe.com if you know all your stuff, and then you can figure out your north node and where you need to be and what house you need to be. And there's some great people on here. I mean, I could repeat it, but it's probably just easier if I just put some links in and you have a look at those and understand how you find out your own. But for me personally, we are all born of light. We just choose which path we go down, and some of us have a lot more karmic debt to clear, so we end up staying in the south node. And if you think about the twins, the female wakes up first, then the masculine wakes up, but the female is usually outside of drama. When she wakes up, the masculine is right in the centre of it all, and he probably wakes up going, oh my gosh, where the hell am I? And who are these people? Because you're around people that, you know, are not they're not how do I explain it without, I think when you awaken, you start to see things for how they are, but you have a different perspective on things. And you know, people do things because we've got karmic debt basically, and past lives and da da da. When you're in another situation and say a masculine or a feminine is attached to a karmic relationships are lessons, but they're toxic, or they can be toxic. And if you try to leave, it can get quite dangerous and quite volatile because they haven't healed some of those insecurities. I hope I'm making sense on that. But when you go through your dark night of the soul, you recognise all your wounds and all your past life stuff that you need to clear out, and you recognise that people have karmic debt. And you know, when some agreements come to an end, or some contracts that have been ties come to an end, it's because that's what's supposed to happen, you know, and you don't take it personally. But I think in karmic relationships they do, because there's a lot of trauma bonding there. There's a lot of entitlement. There's a lot of jealousy, envy, pride, ego, and that's why when you see people doing what they're doing and using the dark divination and the black magic and then pain practitioners, is because it's coming from an ego perspective, and it's not coming from a practicality perspective. It's not coming from, you know, this is what is laid out in terms of destiny. It's coming from a self-fulfilling, selfish stance, really, I would say. But that's only because, and I don't mean that in any negative or disrespect, it's because they haven't gone within to look at what they need to clear within their set themselves and the lineage that they've been attached to, because what they're carrying is usually something from the lineage. So like, you know, if you were a heavy jealous person, it could be something that's in the lineage that happened in the lineage that has created the spirit of jealousy to carry on 444, as I said that on the clock. So I hope that makes sense. You know, it's not putting anybody down, it's just basically that's the difference between the karmic and then when you awaken, because once you've awakened, you don't really do your karmic behaviour. It just doesn't interest you really. You know, you've done your lessons and you just close that off and move on. Anyway, so the 144,000 sealed. Revelations. After this I saw 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth, to prevent any wind from blowing on the land or on the sea or on any tree. Then I saw another angel coming up from the east, having the seal of the living God. He called out in a loud voice to the 4 angels who had been given power to harm the land and the sea, "Do not harm the land or the sea or the trees until we put a seal on the foreheads of the servants or our God." Then I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 from the tribes of Israel. From the tribe of Judea, 12,000 were sealed. From the tribe of Reuben, 12,000. From the tribe of Gad, 12,000. From the tribe of Asher, 12,000. And the tribe of Naphtali, 12,000. The tribe of Manasseh, 12,000. From the tribe of Simon, 12,000. The tribe of Levi, 12,000. And the tribe of Isaiah, 12,000. Some of these words. From the tribe of Zebulun, 12,000, and the tribe of Joseph, 12,000, and the tribe of Benjamin, 12,000. Now I'm going to skip from that and just jump into the other bit that I had, which was about the 144,000. It's on page, it's the lamb, the 144,000. I just thought I'd better add it, just be easy to add it together. So that's on page 1295, and it's Revelations 14, 13. So the lamb and the 444,000. Then I looked, and there before me was the lamb standing on the Mount Zion, and with him the 144,000 who had his name and his father's name written on their foreheads. And I heard around a sound from heaven like the roar of rushing water and like a loud peal of thunder. The sound I heard was like that of a harpist playing their harps, and they sang a new song before the throne and before the 4 living creatures and the elders. No one could learn the song except the 144,000 who had been redeemed from earth. These are those who did not defile themselves with women, for they kept themselves pure. They follow the Lamb wherever he goes. They purchased from amongst men and offered as first fruits to God and the Lamb. No lie was found in their mouths. They are blameless. So I think that just basically says that, you know, the lambs were pure, and the 144,000 that was selected at that time in the prophecy were pure. Now, you know, fast forward to now, I think that, you know, we've all gone through a journey, and I'm not saying none of us are pure, because I think we are pure of heart and pure of soul. It's just the journey that we choose to take and where we choose to stay. If you want to stay in Karmicville, and I say Karmicville as in South Node, then you'll never get to the destiny that was planned for you, because obviously God won't allow it. And I'll go into that a bit more in Twin Flame Part 2. And the reason why I want to just put a little bit of a note on there, and I'll put it on the thing so people can see it. I always say rejection is your protection. So if somebody out there has a soulmate or a twin, and you know, you're still in that, oh, I don't want them back, what they did to me, that's fine. It just means you need a bit more healing to do, as we all do, and nobody's saying you have to take them back. However, what I will say is that they have a lot of debt to clear as well, and the universe will never let someone come back to you if they haven't done the work. So if you feel like they've given you the silent treatment or whatever, that's your protection. Rejection is your protection. Remember that the universe will never let someone come back to you if they have not cleared their karma, and if it's the divine path, that they have to do the work, and they have to recognise what they've done wrong. They have to go through the dark night of the soul. They have to feel everything that they've put you through, Remember, everything that you're feeling that you're probably a little bit angry about of what they did to you, they have to feel it and understand that that's not how you treat people. So if they ever do come back, then they've already gone through that pain and suffering. So, but that's only if they do the work. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that clarifies it for people. So if they don't come back and they've never spoken to you, it's because they're not allowed to, because they're still in devil energy. And rejection is always our protection. So if you look at it like that, change perspective, it makes it a little bit easier to palate. Okay, and just focus on yourself. Self-love is more important anyway. You know, just focus on yourself. I mean, for me, I am, but I've just had a lot of things that people have done to try and slow me down, which was a bit silly really, because all that's going to do is when the energy goes back, it's upset the ancestors, it's upset the spiritual realm, because they've gone a bit too far with it, you know, coming from my home and my stability and all that sort of stuff on the physical and not leaving it in the spiritual realm, and that's where they went a bit wrong. So, you know, what goes back is not going to be great really, but you know, all we can do is pray for their souls and hope that you know, whatever God wants to do, or the spiritual realm, or higher beings, or whoever you believe in, you know, they take back their energy that they've chosen intentionally to put out. There's not much you can do about that. Anyway, back to the Light Seers deck. This is part 2 of the one that I've just done. So if you haven't watched that one, then watch that one before you watch this one. But you know, you decide what you want to do. Anyway, the last one in that one was the betrayal. So they got the partnership, they got the lover, but then everybody sat back because karma's now in play. The towers have hit, and now they're sitting in reflection, regretting taking the cup and getting involved. And the thing is as well, one thing that I will say is, you don't get involved in a divine connection, because the karma that you get for that is probably, well, I wouldn't want to say, but obviously it's a divine connection, isn't it? So it's not just any old connection, and I'm not saying any old connection is just wrong. It's just that it's divine, and you're not going against the person that you think you're actually interfering with. You're actually interfering with the spiritual realm and God and everything else, and that's just not great. But then saying that, you know, karmic lessons as well, isn't there? But I just think that that's probably why the karma and the regret and the betrayal is so strong in those cards, and I can feel it from the cards, the pain that people are going through at this moment in time. So part 2, there's the regret, and as you can see, you know, I can feel the card. It really does jump out at me, the energy that I'm feeling off this card at the minute, because is it regret, or is it remorse, or is it because we got caught out? Did we think that we were going to go to the grave with these secrets and no one was ever going to know? And I think part of it is that they did. They thought they were going to get away, take all this money, run away, live the life, everyone else be in poverty at their expense, and no one would ever know about it. But we all knew about it. It's just when it's in 5D and people in the 3D are not quite clued up about it, you have to wait for it to manifest in the 3D. And then when people who are of a position to be able to question it in the 3D sense, that's when things can happen. I hope that makes sense, because you can't keep... People have been able to keep things in the 5D for a very long time, and now they're manifesting down, because obviously the angels and the ancestors are saying, no, this is not what we planned. So anyway, there's regret. The Emperor is in regret. Now, I would say it's because he didn't use his intuition, but it could be using regret because of his High Priestess as well. So we'll do 2 stories on this. So he's in regret, didn't use his intuition, is out in the cold, or is in regret because of his High Priestess, who's out in the cold. Okay, either way, there's heartbreak, because obviously the truth will always be told around it. The truth will, you don't have to lie. The truth is the truth. Only lies have to be remembered. So it's heartbreak because the truth is out, because obviously the cards have showed it and there is no secrets. I think everybody thinks people are all hidden and secret, and they're not. It's just that divine time is at play, and when we're called to tell the truth, that's what we do. I'm not catching karma for no one. I've done enough of running around doing everybody else's karma, thanks very much. They're into judgment, and that's judgment from the universe, because they're holding on to a Ten of Pentacles. Now it could be family, but a Ten of Pentacles, which is monetary, in a marriage. Remember, he ran off with the Knight of Wands. With the third party, they're trying to get strength, because the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. Now bear in mind, Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, this is energy. It can be a man and a woman, but they're just operating in that energy. Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, we're in a family. So remember, they got married, so from the night moving forward, they walked away and moved forward to collaborate, or a third party. You know, we did talk about polyamorous relationships yesterday, with the King of Swords. Now it could be two women got with the King of Swords, or it could be a man and two men, or it could be two men and a woman, or whatever. But you know, you take it as you know your story. Who lied? So the King of Swords lied about the single person who was kept out of all of this. Remember, who was shut out because the devil slotted themselves in. It came to light that the past had an Ace of Pentacles opportunity. We're trying to get balance because of the Two of Cups, that the Queen of Wands, who is the devil, or operates in devil energy, Queen of Wands, who's devilish, toxic, potentially, paid, we know this because the same story keeps coming out, to abuse and harm. And you can see from that card, you know, paid and abused to harm. And remember, we had black magic in the other one. The Queen of Swords for an Ace of Pentacles. They rushed in, but now they're getting karma, and now they're stressed out. Because the moral of the story is, and I read Book of Revelations, because obviously, you know, we've all got a purpose, and the whole purpose of the 144,000 isn't to be party people. We've got a job to do, and a job for humanity is that's what we've got to do. So obviously all this stuff that's going on here is what's happening in terms of what people have chosen to do. And it's like we always say, we all have a choice and we all have free will. What you don't have is a choice of your consequences. Because if you've got a plan, you need to have been on the plan. Now it could be that you got delayed, but if you're looking at the cards, it was a choice. You know, it was a choice, and it was money over a divine connection. I'm not saying there wasn't any love, because there probably was, but it was all about money. And you know, we know that life isn't just about money, is it? And if it is about money, it's what do you do with that money? Do you have a glamorous lifestyle and spend it on things that are out there, or do you use God's money? Because everything that we have, I believe, comes from God, and it's a test as to how we're going to use it, i.e., you know, leadership, power, you know, authority. That's still a privilege, and it's a test of how you're going to use it. So same for finance, it's a test of how you're going to use it. And obviously if you're in a divine, it's about serving humanity and helping the world and creating a world where children are not just all about the wants. They understand about kindness and all the other things that we've now that has been muddied because of this excessive amount of greed. You know, let's stay up here in the elites, but we'll keep everyone down there. But what we'll do as well is we won't do much work. We'll just keep living a lifestyle, and then we'll just steal off all these people and keep them broken and in poverty. And no. So now you can understand why not everybody in the world will probably see this on my channel, because they don't want people to know it. But eventually, you know, I just hand it over to the universe, and I hand it over to my archangels and my ancestors, because I know that they are more in control. And if they want the channel to be a success, the channel will be a success. And it doesn't really matter what people in YouTube or the bad apples that are trying to sort of slow it down or do whatever they want to do, because this is about helping humanity and helping people change perspective and, of course, redirect if they can, and look at life in a different way. Yes, we need money. Yes, we need to do things like that, but it isn't the be all and end all. There are other things of ways of getting things. You know, what you put out is what you get back. You put dark energy out, you're going to get it back. You put positive stuff out, kindness, free, you get it back in a different way. And that's how it should all work, and that's how energy should flow. But at the moment, there's a lot of people who are just sitting in just greed, pure greed, and you know, it's all about them, and they're not thinking about all the other people that are suffering, and we need to change that. So I hope that makes sense, and that's why the cards are probably still reiterating the same story, because it was a choice as well, but everybody's going through having to reflect now, because that's why they're feeling the betrayal and they're feeling all the stuff. And if you remember what I said in the very early one, the burden doesn't sit with me, it sits with people that have done it. The only challenges that I have in some cases, and they're not because I've just handed it over, is all the things they've tried to do to just put roadblocks in my way. But obviously they'll just get that energy back. You know, it slowed me down a little bit, but my job is to help other people, and when I don't get to help other people, you get karma for that. So the GoFundMe, that's, you know, that was about other people. It wasn't just hurting me, you were hurting them. So hopefully people will start to learn that, you know, actions have consequences, and those actions can harm other people outside the person that they're just projecting at. So maybe that's the lesson that everybody needs to learn. Anyway, I'm going to love yous and leave yous. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you on the next one. See you later. Bye.